first. The revenge of the swamp monsters. Yeah, that's the focus of tonight's angle. A historic win, a popular vote victory? Has Trump world and hardworking Americans, they're in a great mood. We all want to believe that the mandate is undeniable. With Trump and Vance, their hard-charging cabinet nominees, Elon Musk, and a Republican House and Senate, how could the goal of transforming government not be reached? Well, before Trump has the opportunity to really drain the swamp monsters will fight for their natural habitat, no matter who they're up against.
Government agents, scientists, soldiers, secret formulas. None of them belong in this swamp. Only one thing does. The Swamp Thing.
Well, the swampy defenders of the status quo find ways to survive, and this includes setting traps for trespassers. And while the Democrats still have power on Capitol Hill, they want to hamstring Trump by forcing hundreds of billions of dollars in wasteful and even destructive year-end spending, including spending for programs and initiatives that voters don't want or support, like they've done, of course, so many times before. We've been through this. Now, this is such a scam, and it seems to happen every year. With members anxious to leave for Christmas, they just abdicate their duty to be faithful stewards of our money. Courtesy of Senator Mike Lee, here are just a few of the ticking time bombs that could be passed in a swampnibus bill. First, a year-long continuing resolution that would cement into place the Democrats' worst spending abuses for the first part of the Trump administration. Disaster. Second, we could be locked in for continuing Ukraine money. Might as well have Treasury just print, another $50 billion and throw it in a bonfire on Capitol Hill. Total waste there. And third, the fast-tracking of Afghan nationals into permanent residency status, even when we know, courtesy of the Inspector General's report, that they can't even be guaranteed to have ever been properly vetted. And fourth, Democrat-authored new standards and regulations on artificial intelligence that will include DEI requirements. AI with DEI. What could go wrong? So will Republicans say no to this madness and help make Trump's first year in office successful? Will they stay as long as it takes in December to force the Democrats to back down? This is what Speaker Mike Johnson warned about back in September.
We have broken the Christmas omni, and I have no intention of going back to that terrible tradition. So there won't be a Christmas omnibus. As somebody asked me in the hallway a little while ago, will there be many buses? We don't want any buses. We're not going to do any buses, okay?
Now, beyond that, sourpuss Schumer is trying to stymie Trump's agenda by ramming through as many liberal judges as possible before the Senate changes hands.
Last night, I also filed cloture on another 9 nominees to serve as district judges across the country. I will now have filed cloture on a total of 12 district court judges since the end of last week. We're not done. There are more judges to consider and confirm. We're going to spend the rest of the week and the rest of this year focused on confirming them.
Yeah, he looks like a real winner there, reading his notes. Well, Trump urged Senate Republicans, of course, to step up and slow down the cram down. And meanwhile, Democrats haven't given up their strategy of branding everything Trump does as extremist. But now it's using the veneer of bipartisanship to do it. But what's more extremist than always pushing war?
We are prepared to work hard to find bipartisan common ground with our Republican colleagues and the incoming administration on any issue, whenever and wherever possible. But at the same period of time, we will push back against far-right extremism whenever necessary.
And we know the swamp loves wars because the military-industrial complex needs spending to always increase, which will happen with Biden's move authorizing Ukraine to use long-range weapons into Russia.
Is this being done to box in the next administration and make it harder to pull back support for Ukraine?
Well, I can't speak to exactly what made this decision final, but I do think that it's urgent that we put Ukraine on as strong a footing as we can.
Look, the swamp, its allies, they've never cared about what the voters want, which includes putting Americans first. After all, America First, that was the cornerstone of Trump's entire campaign.
The Trump victory is far from a mandate. President Biden won the popular vote by more than 7 million votes in 2020. And I didn't hear Republicans saying, okay, let's give Biden everything he wants because he has a mandate. No, Trump does not have a mandate, and he certainly doesn't have the moral high ground.
This from the party that thought calling Trump a fascist was a brilliant campaign strategy. Well, here's the bottom line. We won, they lost. The American people don't want Joe Biden making any significant policy decisions now. Plus, we saw the videotape. We know he's not the one making any of these moves. The poor man can't even stay in a photo shoot at the G20. We know President Trump is going to stand up for himself and his priorities. But we also need Republicans on both sides of Capitol Hill doing their part to prevent Schumer and Jeffries from hamstringing him until he's back in office. Then the swamp monsters will be the ones running for cover. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.